Bet, if you continue to fret, your heart is going to explode from distress. I have heard you pacing for the last hour, little one. I sleep very lightly. Do not apologize. I told you to wake me at sunrise, and that is what you did. The only problem was the evident fear you held. Yes, I'm a big scary dragon. I will not deny that. But the fates have willed you to be my pet. As long as you continue to be my obedient, prized treasure, no harm will befall you. Not from me, nor anyone else. Come now, human. I know your mortal body requires much to persist. I do not wish to leave my hoard often, so we will be gathering as many supplies as we can today. Allow me a moment to seal the cave. Then we can fly to a sizable city nearby and gather all that you need. There, hidden and safe. I hope you note how important this is to me, human. A lesser dragon wouldn't be able to part with that treasure, even if it killed them. The fact that I am not only leaving it, but also planning to spend some of it, should prove how committed I am to this relationship. Now, will you be flying in my claws, or do you trust your grip to ride by my neck? Yes, human. You should know by now that the nearest major city is quite the distance from here, and you walk incredibly slow for my standards. Just because I am willing to leave my hoard, that doesn't mean that I am willing to dawdle. We will be flying. The only question is where you will be. Aha! I can't say I expected you to make that choice, but I suppose it is up to you. There. Are you comfortable? Very well then. We can lift off. Welcome to the sky above the clouds, human. Take pride. Not many living things make it this far. Fewer still went unscathed. You joined quite the elite group soaring up here. Hey, I can hear your heart hammering. I assume you are scared? Well, I suppose it would be idiotic if you were not. We are still plenty high enough for gravity to have its way with you. But, considering this will be a semi-often occurrence, I hope you will learn to steel your nerves quickly. Yesterday, I made some aggressive claims about you, human. If they offended you, I am sorry. I am not too big a dragon to admit that sometimes I can take my games too far. If you would like, I would want to hear your story, human. We may have a few hours before we make it to a city of my liking. I am sure you can at least regale me with the misfortune that brought you to me. This forest should hide my landing well enough. Are you well, human? Good. Now then, to don my disguise.
Try not to stare, human. I know my naked form is flawless, but it is merely an illusion. While you may be entertaining to keep, your body to me is like a bug is to you. I have no wish to partake in any whorish behaviors, so I must advise you to dismiss any carnal thoughts. You do not need to lie to me, human. I know this form is attractive to your kind. I do not shame you for feeling lust. I am simply stating that you will never get the opportunity to act on it. At least, not with me. Here, why don't I clothe myself, and we can put this discussion behind us. There, fully covered. Walk with me. We are not far from the city, so I will make something clear. I am still a dragon, and the spells I cast are still quite effective. You may notice that you were able to leave the cave without any magical hassles. That is because you are not bound to it. You are bound to me. If you remained apart from me, your body would wither and your heart would stop. You could not find a skilled mage to revert the spell before it killed you, so do not attempt to leave me. Am I understood? Good pet. With that note away, we are looking for food, fresh clothing, grooming materials, and something to carry it all with. I imagine we should begin with the last and get a carriage first. Preferably a steam-powered one, so I do not have to transport a horse every time we come to market. I see a smithy up the lane. I'll see what models they have. Why don't you go find you some clothes? Here is enough gold for whatever you desire. Pick out whatever you'd like, but remember that my cave is not exactly the warmest place. Oh, and if you feel your skin start to burn or your head starts to ache, that means you are wandering too far from me. You should have a few minutes to come back within the spell's safe zone before you suffer any real consequences. Do not worry about the intricacies of my magic too much. Many of my spells would literally split your mind if you understood them. Just trust in what I say and go buy some clothes. That's a good pet. Ah, you have returned. Found everything well enough? Well, put your garbs in the chest in the back. We will get food by the barrel and be on our way. Do you want help to get into the carriage? Oh, capable little thing, aren't we? This human hive is rather pretty, wouldn't you say? Ah, you wound me. Yes, despite my age and disposition, I can see the beauty of your human creations. Even this carriage is an impressive feat. Then again, you humans were always good at tinkering. I am always surprised your kind doesn't get along with the dwarves. You have so much in common. I was going to get grain, dried meat, and spices. But if you want something else, you will have to speak up now. Very well, then keep an eye out. If you do not spot it before I finish buying the basics, then you will have to leave it behind. I imagine you still have the gold to simply buy whatever you see. Spend it all if you wish. But be back quickly. I want to be back in the sky before nightfall. You certainly took your time, did you not? Surely there were not that many stalls within your leash's radius. What consumed you? A brooch. Well then, let's see it. Well, it is certainly shiny, I will give it that. Why exactly did it catch your eye? A gift? A gift for me? I suppose I would be flattered, but there is a little problem, human. This brooch is positively shoddy when compared to just about any of my treasures. Yes, it looks like it is worth its weight in diamonds, but trust me, I have an eye for this sort of thing. The metal working was botched and reattempted no less than a dozen times. The gem of choice is clear, but whoever cut it should be publicly executed for how they butchered it. And this chain isn't silver, it is steel. Twice burned to make it appear glossy. Do not fret, pet. While the trinket may be worthless, the gift has meaning. You could have bought anything, and you chose to sacrifice for me. I understand your life before me was tumultuous, but you do not owe me gratitude for sparing your life. In fact, I would say most humans would be cursing my name and looking for an escape. You are certainly an oddity in that regard. Let us get far enough away from town to take off. There is something I want you to see. This should be far enough away from town. I'll carry the carriage when we fly. You should stay inside it and ensure that nothing falls out.
Ah, I often forget how small my human form truly is. Much better to let my wings spread, I think. Are you ready to go home, human? Hold on tight, then. Soaring again. I hope the fear has lessened since last time. Good. Then you can enjoy what I wanted you to see. We have timed this just right for it too. You may have noticed I am flying just under the clouds. That is because something magical waits above. Are you ready to see it? From up here, you have an undisturbed view of the sunset. The oranges and pinks rolled across the pale clouds. And, coincidentally, I can fly just fast enough to keep the sun on the horizon for the rest of our journey. You will get to gaze out on the scene for the entire trip. I hope you enjoy it. I find it quite relaxing. I usually do not leave my cave, so I often miss things like this. But whenever I see them, I always wonder why I do not partake in them more often. When we met, I told you I was bored, lonely. That dullness is what prompted me to play with you. You may have found it odd that I had a haven ready for someone of your size. I told you that I had pets before, but that does not explain my scope. In truth, the pets I keep are my only company. Dragons are not hospitable to their own kind, and I cannot trust any of my magical peers. No one acquires the wealth and power to be my equal without stabbing a few backs. It has been more than a few decades since my last pet left me. They were a woodland nymph who had gotten lost when they were young. They took their life when they learned of what befell their people. I do not blame them, but regardless, I was left with nothing but sadness for many years. I was overjoyed when you passed our little tests. Even if I did not show it, I say all of this so you know, I wish you to stay with me. And while you are physically incapable of leaving, I am willing to do quite a bit to persuade you not to try. I hope, in time, you will learn to see me as a friend. My most sincere thanks for the brooch. I will treasure it long after you pass. Why don't you get some rest? I am sure the hours have left you tired. I will get you back to your alcove while you slumber. Good night, little one.